Hi, I'm Mimika Cooney, and welcome to Mimika TV, the place to build a brilliant business brand. Today, we are talking about permission to charge your worth. Jessica Riverson is the CEO and founder of the international coaching and training company called Permission to Charge. She teaches coaches, consultants, and experts how to own their worth and properly price and package their expertise into a premium program that actually sells. She's best known for her popular Instant Pay Rise program, where entrepreneurs finally give themselves a raise by doubling or tripling their income through creating and selling their own high-end signature programs. Jessica is a co-author of the Amazon #1 best-selling book, The Power of Being a Woman, and the author of the forthcoming book, Permission to Charge, How to Earn Your Worth, Package Your Expertise, and Sell with Soul. Now, that really sounds cool about your new book. So congratulations.
Yeah, I've been working on it for a while, and I got to finish it.
Well, a previous blabber that we were talking about speaking to an author, and it's like the whole thing. To me, writing a book's like having a baby. You get all excited at first, and the nausea sets in, and the tiredness, and then you're going to go through the pain at the end to get it done, but then it's worth it.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I've written like practically the whole thing already. So it's just finishing it.
Yes, the finish, right? That's always the race to the end. So you have created a really great empire, I'd have to say, with everything you've done. So amazing and so impressive. So tell us a little bit about this, because I know we're going to dive into some great topics. And just to remind everybody, here at Mimika TV, our guests kindly donate to our Giddy giveaway, which is one lucky viewer is going to win. Tell us a bit about the giveaway that you're giving away today, Jessica.
Yeah, so I printed this out just to show you guys. It's kind of hard to see, but this is the page one. So in my Instant Pay Raise program, which is for entrepreneurs who want to create their own high-end programs, we have a module where we teach you how to create your custom consult, discovery session, whatever you might call it. And so I think there's there's 4 pages. There's 4 pages that go to this training, and it teaches you how to create your own custom consultation that will actually entice people to want to have a consultation or discovery session with you. So how to create it, what to say, what to call it. And what I always tell my students is you can't sell your program unless you first can sell people or entice people to actually have a free consult or free discovery session with you. So that's a training. Well, you get the PDFs, and it walks you step by step through it. So that's what I'm giving away.
Yeah, and that's definitely valuable, because this could take you years to learn how to actually sell yourself. And this is something I know I've had to learn, and I still work on it, how to actually sell yourself on the phone or in email. It's basically to convert people to do business with you. So this is
Absolutely.
going to be super valuable. So the one lucky viewer is going to be able to win this prize. So you have to pay attention, because we're going to ask a question related to some of the content that Jessica is going to share. And I'm going to ask you, you're going to have, whoever's the quickest to type in the comments will be able to
claim the prize.
So it's like a quiz. It's like a quiz, yes. So we're paying attention, and then the quiz is going to be at the end related to what Jessica shares.
Awesome.
So let's get into some juicy bits. Now, I know for a lot of my audience, a lot of us have this problem. And yes, thank you so much for clicking on the Tell a Little Bird. If I haven't mentioned that already, please go ahead and click it, and let's get the party started and get more people joining us. Oh, and we'll be getting lots of props too. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
This is something I know that I've been struggling with for years. And in every business model I've ever had, it's always about, okay, you know you've got value to offer the world. How do we position ourselves to actually start charging? Because wouldn't you agree, a lot of people undercharge for their expertise?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So your question is, how do we start charging for the value?
Well, I suppose let's start off with the first step is, how do you, and let's break it down into actual steps. So if somebody's got a business, you want to be able to get people either on the phone, or you want to be able to, like if you're a coach or a consultant, you're selling your services. So you want to be able to create value from that. What would you advise somebody who's starting with that, starting with their business?
If they're starting with their business, what's really common is to price really low and say, well, I'm just starting, and, who am I to really start this business? And what are they going to think of me if I charge this much? And gosh, am I really that good? Can I really get results? So one of the first steps I take people through is really understanding the value of that service to the client, because sometimes we could confuse our own value, or if we have a low sense of value, especially if you are that heart-centered person that's giving, and the whole reason you got into the business that you're in is because you want to serve and help people. That type of person usually does have trouble charging money for what they do. And they'll say to me, I don't want to take people's money. And I'm like, you're not taking anyone's money. Like, there's no taking of money. There's an exchange. And so I do understand that, because that's where I started, with that same mentality of, I wanted to help people, but I wanted to make money. And I thought they were like mutually exclusive. And so the first exercise, again, is like getting clear on what is the value of that service to the client. So taking yourself out of the picture for a moment and asking yourself, okay, what are the results that can be provided through my service? And what does that do for them, right? Like, let me say this correctly. If you think about the idea of them not hiring you, like, for example, someone that I've worked with that's a hypnotherapist, and they help people to quit smoking. If you think about, well, what is it going to cost them if they keep smoking for another 10 or 20 years? And when you look at it that way and you see how much it costs them, physically and financially and emotionally and spiritually, you start to realize just how valuable that is. And people always think that I tell them what to charge because my company has permission to charge, but it's one of those things where you have to feel out the situation. Yes, you can look around and see what other people are charging, but that's not really, you don't base your pricing off of what other people are charging. You base it off the value. So if you're saving someone's life, that's valuable. And it doesn't matter if you're so good that you can do it in one session versus 10 sessions, you're going to charge based on what is that worth, not what you think you yourself are worth. Because the problem is, if we're very humble and we feel like, well, I'm not going to put a price tag on myself. You're not putting it on yourself. You're putting it on that service and the result that the client is going to experience. Whatever transformation they're going to get from working with you is where you're placing the value. So it sounds a little bit easier, easier said than done, because I feel like it's a process, right. But that would be the first step, is just really doing the target market research, taking time to understand what the problem is costing them so that you can see how valuable your solution really is.
Well, especially like an entrepreneur, is like, if you can, for all of us who are running businesses, time is money. And if you can show that whatever you're offering them is going to save them lots of time and money, like for me, in my own example, one of the businesses I started with, I was messing around and trying this and trying all the free stuff and trying to do it myself. And I realized, if I charge $500 an hour for an hourly rate, if I was messing around with my website and it took me 5 hours, that's pretty expensive. I could have probably found someone to do it less than half the price, far quicker, easier, and far better quality than I would have done slapping it together myself. So again, it's like that value. So instead of me messing around with my website, I could have hired a web designer, and I could have been spending my time on a sales call making sales. So once you start to weigh it up, it's like, should I do this? It's too expensive for me to do it. I need to have someone else who could do it for me.
Yeah, that's another good point, because if you understand your target client, like let's say your target client is a business owner, and business owners know that time is money, like you said, and if you can position your service or product that it will save them time and money, then now you're speaking their language, and now they're more interested in talking to you. So I think that's a really good point. It's understanding the value and then understanding their mindset, so that when you present your offer, they're automatically interested, because it's speaking their language, it's speaking to their pain points, it's speaking to their priorities.
Right. And I think there's a big difference in terms of like, and it's also a mind shift thing that I've had to overcome in my own businesses, is that you can't charge what you feel like you're worth. Like you said, just because you can't, or your affordability, just because you can't afford to, buy the certain product doesn't mean your clients are in the same affordability bracket as you. Like for me, the longest time as a photographer in my local area, I was known as the most expensive, because for me, I wanted to own that part of being the brand, but knowing that if they came to me, they were going to get a full service from me. Everything is, I spend nothing but the best in terms of quality, holding their hand through it. So people know that that's what you can expect to get from me. But then, there's a value to that.
Yeah, I have a really good story about the affordability thing. So I have my coaching business. That's like why I'm here in this moment. But 11 years ago, I started a franchise. I bought into a franchise, and it's a tutoring franchise. And so I hired tutors, certified teachers, and then the phone started ringing and parents would call and they would, want to hire a tutor. They'd say, I'm calling, I need a tutor for my child. And I was the one running the company. I didn't do any tutoring. So I was the one setting up, the families. And one of the first things they always said was, what do you charge? How much does it cost? And I remember that first few months I would give a discount and I would feel really bad if they would say it was too expensive. And some people would say, how can you charge that much? And what was really interesting is at that time I was 25. I was a single mom. I could not afford private tutoring for my child. And so when people were calling, I thought it was expensive. My own mindset was, oh my gosh, this is really expensive. So I started to do things based on projecting my own financial situation and saying, well, I'll give you a discount and I'll waive the registration fee and I'll do this and I'll do that. And, if they would ask me to provide a variation of the service, which wasn't really how we did things, I would try to okay, I'll try to do that to please you. And luckily I had a business coach at that time, and she really helped me break through and see that I was projecting my own money mindset onto my clients. And because of my own situation, I was projecting, those same fears and concerns onto them. And pretty soon after that, I raised my prices about $5 per hour, because in that business, we do charge by the hour. And then what I noticed was I stopped getting as many people complaining about the price. And I've had this other business for 11 years now. And when occasionally someone will say, oh my gosh, I can't afford that, blah, blah, blah. But usually I don't get that response anymore. And when I do, I'm totally fine with it. It's not that I don't have compassion for someone's situation, but I just know so strongly in my heart that they're not an ideal client. I know who is the right client for that service. And when they're not that person, I can refer them and say, there's free, services at the library, or the school sometimes has these free services. And I just, recommend them over to the right service for them. So that whole thing you said about affordability, I know that one so well about what you can afford doesn't mean, especially if you want to attract high-end clients, you've got to put your mindset and increase your wealth consciousness to match, who you want to attract.
Exactly. I love that. I got to write that down there. # wealth consciousness, if I could spell the word.
I know. After we figure out how to spell it.
S-E, yeah. So, and this is the thing, is I know a lot of the people in my audience who've been following me for years, I've taught a lot of photographers, and the photographers are primarily, not all of them, okay, this is a generalization, but a lot of us, when you're creating something out of what you love, like you said, like a passion, you could do it for free because you do it anyway and you love the art.
Yeah.
You have this artist starving mindset. It's almost like charging money is a dirty word. Mm-hmm. So how do we move someone from, no matter what industry you're in that situation when you feel you do this really well and there's value to it, but what do you do to start? Because you said earlier that you shouldn't really start low. Is that part of you should just come at the blocks and say, this is what I'm worth and this is what I'm charging straight away?
Yeah. First of all, you need to get proof of concept for something. So I think as entrepreneurs, we're very creative and we come up with ideas, and you need to make sure it's a sellable idea. Someone's going to buy this service. If you can look around and see other people successful at what you do, that definitely makes it easier for you. If you're just a real maverick and you've created something that's not out there, I'm probably not the best, person for that, because I like to work with services that I know if I'm going to work with someone, I need to know that they can make money doing that thing. So I just wanted to say that first, because there are a lot of people out there that are very creative and they have really good ideas, but those ideas don't always make money. So
Okay.
I just want to say that first. But once you have an idea where someone has actually hired you, or someone has, even if they haven't paid you what you really want to be charging, but someone has paid you and gotten a great result, and you're solving a real problem in someone's life, then, you know, the first step is really to take the time to price it correctly. So understanding the value of it, and focus on value-based pricing than pricing by the hour. Now, there are some businesses where it might make sense to charge by the hour, but for a solopreneur, someone like me, I don't know if you consider yourself a solopreneur, but it's like, even if we have team members, we are like the business, right? We are the business. So if you're a solopreneur, you have to charge what you're worth, because, you know, you're usually trading, you know, time. And like, I have group programs now, so it's more leverage, but even like one-on-one coaching or one-on-one kind of work, that is not a leveraged business model at all. So you have to charge what you're worth. You have to really get out there and take the time to carefully price, you know, based on the value, so that your clients will value it. Because if you price too low, what happens if you go somewhere and you see something really cheap? You go, oh, is it really any good? Is it worth it? You know, am I really going to get the result from this thing? It doesn't look like it's very good. And that goes with branding, right? Like how you're presenting the whole package.
Definitely. And that's the thing, is we make these decisions subconsciously, like, and that's why I love harping and talking about people with branding and what they're putting out there. That, you know, somebody can go from zero to hero very quickly if they position themselves. And a lot of, we talk about this a lot. It's like, you know, and I liken it to, you go to the store to buy shampoo, right? There are hundreds, if not several hundred versions of shampoos. And what makes you pick one over the other is really how the brand speaks to you. And for me, I've got allergies, so I can't do anything that's got coloring or additives. I'm always looking for hypoallergenic or organic or natural. So I'm kind of blinkered out anything else that's got the funky stuff. I don't care about how pretty their logo is. To me, I'm honed into finding that product that is what I want. And just like you said, if we can price ourselves, I don't mind paying a few extra dollars for a product that's more natural, that's maybe, you know, tasted properly. And I think that's where we get it all wrong, is we think that we have to be the lowest and that it has to be a race for price.
Yeah.
And it's a huge problem.
That's the thing, is if you do charge by the hour, you're causing your clients to focus on your hourly rate. And so then they're going like, oh my God, you charge, you know, 100 or 200 an hour. And that's all they're thinking about. And then they're going out there and going, well, this person only charges this much. So it's really important that you don't do things that are going to make your clients just look at the price. You have to position it so that they're going to be thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this, this, and this. My life is going to change in this way. And they're getting excited about, you know, what's going to happen for them, or what's going to change, or what it's going to do for them. But I think, like what you said at the beginning, if you start pricing based on what you think you could afford, or what you think other people can afford, I mean, that's one part of the equation. I mean, sure, we need to look at like, what will people really pay? But if you look out in the world right now, you can find people charging like anything for anything. I mean, I came across a yoga teacher that was charging $1,000 an hour. And some people might go, oh my God, you know, what is her problem? I saw it and I was like, that is so cool. Like, how does she do that? You know? So to me, I find it fascinating when I look at the range of prices. And I always give this example. If you wanted to say hire Tony Robbins or something to coach you, it'd be like $1 million a year to be coached by him, right? So you can find your service from zero all the way, you know, and so you get to charge whatever you want. And yes, we're going to look at all the factors. We're going to look at the market. We're going to look at what people will pay, but we're not going to stop there. That's not going to be, you know, where we end with our prices. We have to look at the full picture.
Definitely. And I mean, I had this conversation with someone on Facebook yesterday, which really annoyed me. Is like, you know, based on a service that I provide, she's framed what she thinks I do visual brand strategy with clients. So I'll take you and say for a speaker or an author or an expert, they want to redo their visual branding. So we do everything from their photography, we create their video, we help them with a complete social media strategy so they know how to position themselves. And so they really come across as a high-end ticket item. And, one of the people, she's well known in some of the social media spaces, but in her mind, she had framed what this is valued because based on what she had been charged before, because she had this frame, an anchored price in her mind.
Yes.
And then when I come out and I'm charging like maybe $1,000 or $2 more, I don't know anyone who would charge that. And I'm like, at first I was like, I could go like, oh, well, if she's not prepared to pay me more, surely it can't be worth it. And I thought, you know what? Stuff that. She's not my ideal client.
Yeah.
I don't need to work with someone who says, you know what you're providing is more than what this other person can do. But even so, there's no competition.
Yeah.
What this person does is completely different to what I do. There's more value in the way that I'm relating that to my clients. Because I know for the clients that I work with, we can take them and help them make money from their business. So, and when you're talking about making money and saving time, that's a whole nother value than when you position it as, oh, this is a nice to have, right? Like, don't really need that, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point that you bring up this idea of an anchor price, because people sometimes have an anchor price in their mind. So if you were going to go, I mean, I know I do. I'll give you an example. If I'm going to go hire a massage therapist, I have an anchor price in my mind. I've gone to massage therapists before. So when I see that the prices go from here in the United States, it's like $60 an hour. If you're at a hotel, it could be $160 an hour, and because I know I have that anchor price in my mind, that's going to sway my judgment, so it's a real phenomenon. I mean, people do have that anchor price in their mind. And so then it's like, either they're not your ideal client, or with what you do with the positioning of the branding, helping people overcome that anchor price. Sometimes they're just not educated. Like we talk about the coaching world, someone who has never hired a coach, they don't have a clue how much coaching is. They could be very surprised. And that's why all of the other components, like what you do and with what I do, all of those other components of the positioning are really important, because you might have to overcome someone having sticker shock or having a price anchor because they hired someone else and they may just not know. And so I love what you're saying, because we're teaching people how to value us. We're teaching people how we want them to perceive. I mean, value is perception, right? So we're teaching them how we want them to perceive our value. Thanks for the props.
Yes, there you go, everyone. Thanks for and definitely keep your add some questions on the side there, because we're going to talk about more stuff as we go along. And just to remind everyone, those who've recently joined, here at Mimika TV, we do a goodie giveaway, and Jessica is going to be donating one of her parts of her program to help you charge your own worth, because we're talking about, how to charge your own worth, how to position yourself to create that value. Now, and we've talked about, not basing it on what other people charge and not based on what you feel you can afford, as well as, because the thing is, especially when you're in a price war to the bottom, who wants to win that war, right? Who wants to be the cheapest? Not me.
Yeah.
So how do we now, let's take it a step further now. Okay. So we know we want to charge more, and say for this example, so this woman that I spoke to was on the message. She immediately gave me that, I can't believe you can charge. I don't know anybody who would pay those prices. And immediately it's like, like a stab to the heart, right? My first instinct is to kind of back off and go, okay, well, I'll give you like 100% off, right?
Yeah, I'll do it for free.
Exactly, like just please expect me. And it's that whole rejection thing.
Yeah, so like don't judge me. Like I want people to like me, and yeah.
So how do we get over that? How do we stick to our guns when like you've got bills to pay and you're worth this, but you don't want to give yourself away for free, but you're stuck between a rock and a hard place? What do you do then?
Yeah, that's a really common issue. A lot of times people, the business owners, their first line of defense is to go, people aren't buying. I have to, the price is too high. And I had a client that said that to me recently, and I said, that's not the problem. This person wasn't generating leads. So if you're not generating any leads, if you don't have 10 people coming to you every month inquiring about your service, then how can you say it's the price?
Right.
It would be different if 10 people came to you and they all said, the price was too high. Then you have a couple, you can say, well, I'm targeting the wrong people. Or you could start to look at your price if you want, but across the board, people price too low. So it's like almost never the problem. It's almost never the
Right.
problem.
So when somebody says, "Oh, you're too expensive, I can't afford you," what are they really saying?
They're really saying that they don't see the value. They're not seeing what it's going to do for them. Because I mean, think about all of us on here right now. We've all done something, a vacation, bought a program, hired someone where initially we thought, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And we had maybe that hesitation or that objection. But we've all bought something that like logically we might not have the logical, reason, but because we wanted it so bad, or we wanted that result so bad, we invested anyway. And so if someone's saying it's too expensive, they're not seeing the value. So you have to go back and go, tell me why you feel that way. Like I would ask them that, tell me why you feel that way, because I want to find out more. You could write it off and say they're not my ideal client, or you could explore it and find out, like, tell me a little bit more about why you feel that way. And then you might get behind the real issue. It could be that they don't think they can afford it. They're allowed to have their own judgment about it, but that's based on their own money mindset. So it's not really about whether it's too expensive or not. It's whether it's about what is it going to do for you?
Right.
What is the result that you're going to get? It might be expensive, right? That's judgment. I mean, what I think is expensive, someone else might think is really cheap, or vice versa, Yeah, Rob says we make decisions based on emotions. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so, Michael, I know Michael.
Okay, we got Michael Bloom and Cassie Daly, Stephen J. Cognier, Rob Rudy, Richard I, Rebirth by Tanya, Jacques Van Heerden. That's a very South African name. Is it FBCFF? I'm not sure what that is. And yeah, we've got quite a few people on here. So this is the thing, is I'm always like to delving in. Is like, let's talk about the word value, because I know you've mentioned it a lot. And how do you sell more of a value? So it's less about, hey, I'm gonna spend, like an accountant, I'm going to charge you 6 hours for doing your taxes at the end of the year, right? Or a lawyer, I'm going to charge you $500 just to get on the phone to give you tax advice. They don't seem to have a problem with charging us for their services. But a lot of other, as you mentioned, like creative entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, speakers, when we're giving something that we create, that we're coming up with, or designers, whatever, we seem to have a problem with that. So how do we position value? How would you break down value in terms of, instead of here's my product, here's a discount?
Yeah. Well, and by the way, you would be surprised. I've worked with CPAs, bookkeepers, lawyers, and some of them do have a problem charging a lot of money. So, but in general, like a lawyer is like, hey, this is what it is per hour. But there's still, even in those professions, they have trouble sometimes. So how to break down value? First of all, if you don't want someone to focus on your price, I just wouldn't charge by the hour. Now, again, I know there's some professions like lawyers that, that's kind of how they do it. But for the rest of us, creative entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, you want to put your services together in a program. So I always say that, you start out hourly, and then you get smart and you go, well, I'm going to put together a package, and I'm going to do 10 sessions, and they're going to get $100 savings. That's a little smarter than selling by the hour. But then if you get really smart, you create a program. So a program is a container of support that your client can step into to receive a transformation, whatever it is that you are offering. So when you're positioning your program, now you're having, just like, we have Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers here in the United States, and I think they're in other countries as well. People know that because of all the commercials and the celebrity endorsements. They know that that's a results-oriented program. Whether you agree with those programs or not, people know that they could take that program, they're going to lose weight, right? That it's branded, it's known, celebrity endorsements, testimonials, all kinds of stuff. So when you want someone to focus on the value, you have to speak their language, number one. So you have to do the proper target market research. In my instant pay raise program, that's the first thing that we do. Well, the first thing we do is actually an exercise on owning your worth. And then we go into target market research so you can understand what is the language that they're speaking. A friend of mine said you need to speak in their native language, which I loved how she said that. So speaking in the native language of your ideal client, understanding their pain points, understanding what it's really costing them on all levels, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. The problem that they have is costing them in many, many ways. So understanding that, and then creating a program that has a results-oriented title that is going to speak to the result that they want, having copy that's compelling, having branding that evokes emotion. If you're saying, I'm going to teach you to be, a six-figure coach, then you got to show up that way. Your branding has to show up that way, the copy. And my website and all my stuff isn't perfect, but it's like, I'm always working on tweaking things to make sure I'm creating that experience, So it is really about being able to have them see the value in everything that you're doing. So your copy, your branding, the words you're using, the name of your program, it's all speaking to that thing that they really want.
So it's results orientated. So then people take their focus off on nickel and diming you and thinking, oh, you want to add this in, and because then what did you say, to get them in an analytical state of mind? And we don't want them. We want to stick them in an emotional state of mind, so that it's easier. And you did mention packages, and I know I've tasted this before with my own businesses. It's easier for people to decide to say yes when there are less choices. Like go to McDonald's. Do you want, you want A, B, or C? Oh, I'll have B, right? Instead of, do you want a drink? And then, okay, not that I eat at McDonald's.
Yeah, you want the full package. Just, give me the whole thing. The
give me a solution. I want that.
Burger, ice cream cone. Just give me the whole thing. And
don't make me think too much. Otherwise, I'm going to start, it's going to hurt. Then it's going to hurt my pocket. Then the thing is, you want to be able to show, as you mentioned, the value where then people get the results. And then it's easier to sell the second time around, right? Once you can actually show somebody's results.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easier to re-enroll an existing client than go out and get a new client. So once you've given them the value and they're, seeing the benefits, then it's much easier to, offer them the next program that you have. Hey there.
Well, I have a good question I want to ask you about signature programs. But before we do, I want to remind everybody here at Mimika TV, you have the opportunity to be in it, to win it. And this week's goodie giveaway is kindly donated by Jessica. She is offering her client attractive free consult template. And that is worth dollars because it's part of her program. So she's going to give you parts of that. So the first person you can mention, and you've got to be fast to type this, right? Are you ready for this? So the question is, and particularly Jessica, has mentioned the word, that it's 5-letter word. It's not about based about time. What is it that you are selling someone? What is that word that she keeps talking about? We're selling the what? We're not selling time. We're not selling. There we go. JKB for free value. Yay! Congratulations.
All right, so I need that. I need the email of that person. JKB. I need your email. Or let's see, maybe they can message me.
Okay, so I've got to give us your email address. So what's the best way? You want a Facebook or Twitter direct message? Oh, there she goes. She's
probably Facebook. Oh, there we go. Okay. I will go ahead and send that to you when we're done.
Perfect. So that is awesome. You see, it pays to play and be here live on Mimika TV. Yes. You get to be rewarded. Yay! And I know she's been, he has been following me on. I want you to change your
what's your name?
Yeah, we need your name and we need your face because I know before Justin. Yes.
Hey, Justin. Okay, I will send that to you in just a little bit.
Exactly. So that is super cool. So value. This is a question that I want to know as well. Okay. We talked about signature programs. When we say signature, does this mean we have to stick to one and one only that we offer clients? Like, why is it important to have a signature program?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Gosh, there's a lot of good reasons to have a signature program.
And the reason I'm asking is because it's a selfish question. I need to know because I have a problem of too many ideas, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have the same issue as, the idea writers. We have this idea and that idea, and that's good, and that's good. How do we nail it down to what the one thing that is going to provide value to our clients, that's going to get us known and branded as this one thing, especially when you have too many options?
Well, you kind of answered the question. I mean, the reason why you want to have a signature program is so that you can become known for that thing. And people can start to identify you with that. Like, oh, that's Mimika. She does the blah, blah, blah program. It doesn't mean you're never going to have, other programs or other offers. It's just that you have that signature flagship, thing, that thing that you're known for. I mean, think about, for example, Diane von Furstenberg. She's known for the wrap dress. Okay, guys, you're not going to get this, but unless you're really into fashion. But, Diane von Furstenberg, that's her like signature thing is the wrap dress. And she sells other items of clothing, of course, but that's like what she is known for. It's her classic, simple dress, looks good on any woman. Like that's the whole idea behind it. It's basic, it's simple, it's classy. Every woman, every body shape can just look amazing. So she's known for that. And then that helps her, that's like a launching pad to create other accessory items, and things, right? So same thing with any other businesses. People will know you for that signature program and you'll be the go-to expert for that thing. And once someone comes into your sphere, like sphere of influence, like they get on your email list or they start following you on Blab and they get to know that you're about other things. Like for me, permission to charge, right? I actually rebranded because I had a different name for my company that people couldn't pronounce. They thought it was really cool, but they didn't know why they thought it was cool. And I couldn't monetize it. And so I realized that with every client, I was dealing with this permission to charge issue. And since I started overcoming that for myself, and then I started helping other people with it, I realized that that's really was like my hook, right? So when people hear permission to charge, I generally get really, really positive feedback. Like they go, oh, like they get what it means. It's that hook. It kind of brings them in where they want to hear more. And then when they come in, they realize I'm not just teaching owning your worth. I'm teaching, how to package your expertise, how to create your high-end program. And then I'm teaching sales because you can charge your worth, but if you can't sell, it doesn't matter if you're charging your worth. If you can't have an effective sales conversation. So I think the signature program, it goes with your hook. It goes with that thing that you're known for. So when I created the, permission to charge instant pay raise, it's all about the 3 key steps that I do. Own your worth, package your expertise, sell with soul. And that's the name of the forthcoming book as well. So I'm creating everything under that. Now I do have other programs. So once you create a signature program, so there's 3 steps, right? Own your worth, package your expertise, sell with soul. So I have a money program that has to do with owning your worth. And I have a sales program that's how to, book discovery sessions and do discovery sessions. So you can take your signature program and you could take pieces of it and create these stand apart programs. But if you start with that one core thing that has like your signature steps or your methodology, that thing that you do, and you can give it, it's not on here. I was just looking at the thing that Justin won. It's not on there, but I think I've got my whole curriculum out right here. I wanted to say something.
Well, it's like a process, right? Because what a program is, you're selling a process. So like, in other words, a recipe, you plug in and play. You follow the steps, you follow the recipe, and this is the result, or this is the cake you're going to bake.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like, I would have to agree with you. Like, once you have your program, it has like a bigger one, and then you can kind of take it down, and then, it makes it easy for you to write blog posts, what topics you need to talk about on interviews, who you want to be in a network with. It makes it so much easier to choose.
Yes.
You're not so like pulled by the nose, like for the longest time of figuring it out.
You know what's really fascinating? Like I think, and I love what Michael's saying actually. So one of the things that people don't realize is that when you become an expert and you become known for that thing that you talk about, you write blogs about, you talk about it, you're interviewed about it, it's all like, for me, it's always permission to charge, right? So what happens is you start to become known for something, right? Because if you try to be known for everything, you're going to be known for nothing. But if you can pinpoint on one thing to be known for, what happens is, like, for example, I focus on coaches and consultants. That's my target market. But I've had real estate agents come to me. I've worked with lawyers. I've worked with other service providers. One of my best clients is a dog trainer. built her business from $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month. I don't market to dog trainers, right? But when she heard me speak, because I was the speaker that day, I was the expert speaking, she wanted to talk to me afterwards. And when I talked to her, I realized her business model was no different than most coaches' business models. And I knew I could help her. So we talked and it made sense for us to work together, and she had amazing results. So people a lot of times think that if they speak just to one person, like if I just speak to coaches and I make that my target market, then I'm cutting off all these other people. But in fact, you're drawing more people to you because you're now seen as an expert at something, right? Instead of being the jack of all trades, and people don't know they don't know what you're known for, and you're not going to get asked for interviews. You're not going to be on telesummits. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to go to the questions here. So Michael Bloom for Coach says, what type of program do you prefer? A multi-level program, boot camp, or group one-on-one? And which it also goes with Rev Coach CEO says, can you talk about, do you have smaller accessible workshops, advanced level? And I know this is like almost like, what kind of program do you pick, right? Do you have one-on-one? Do you have group session? Do you have courses? What would your answer be to that?
Okay. Well, if you are a coach or consultant, the first like $8,000 to $10,000 a month should come from your private coaching. If you try to come on the scene and launch a group program and you don't have a lot of money to do proper internet marketing, if you don't have big joint venture partners, you don't have an email list or a social media following, it's going to be difficult most of the time. You hear the success stories, but they're few and far between. So if you're just starting out, you need to focus on private clients. That's your bread and butter income. So I would focus on one-to-one. Some people are like, I don't want to do one-to-one. I just want to do group. I want to do workshops. That's fine. Generally speaking, it's going to be a longer ramp up time unless you're just one of those personalities where you can fill a room. And some people have that. They just have that already. And they have a lot of friends and they have a lot of clout already. Even if they don't have an email list, they have that magnetic personality. But typically you want to start out with one-on-one. And then when you have an email list and you have some pent up demand and you have the ability to now go out and offer a workshop or a group online program at a lower price point and you can fill it, then that's like icing on the cake. And that pushes you into like the 15 or 20,000 a month. For me personally, because I think Michael was because I know Michael, I don't know you, Michael, but like we know who each other is. So I think Michael maybe was asking what I personally like. So just to answer that, I like a combination. I'm running a lot of group programs right now, and I really love running group programs. I also like doing VIP days, like an intensive. I like one-on-one coaching, but I really love doing intensives. And to answer Reverend Coach's question, breaking down my methodology, I think the best thing to do is I will just tell you how my instant pay raise program works, because that's my signature system. So we start out, like I said, there's 3 key steps. Owning your worth. You have to do owning your worth.
Pen and paper.
Okay. Owning your worth. You need to work on your money mindset, right? You need to understand your value in the marketplace. And then you need to do target market research. Even if you already have a business and you have proof of concept, you've had clients, but if you want to go to the next level, like I do target market research every day. I mean, when I listen to my clients, I'm writing down things and then I'm highlighting it and I'm saving it on a separate, piece of paper so I know what the next program is or how to make my program better. So I'm always listening. So even if you're already an established business owner, if you want to raise your rates or like go more high end or go to that next level, do another round of target market research, then revamp, or if you're just starting, you would create your programs. But if you're already a business owner, you need to go back and revamp your current pricing and packaging. Make sure the copy, the branding, what it's called, the benefits, everything that you say about it is speaking in their language and it's exactly what they want. Most of the time, when I talk to someone about my instant pay raise program, like if they reach out to me and I tell them about it or they read about it, they go, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. And that's what you want people saying. You want them to hear or see what you're offering, your program, and have it be so just perfect for your target market that they go, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. It's like music to your ears when you hear that. Then the third step, I say, sell with soul. And it's about sales. It's about lead generation and being able to master the discovery session and the consult, or whatever you call it. I call mine a consult. Some of you might call yours a discovery session. Hey, Boomy. Follow Boomy. Boomy's awesome. She's always popping on my blab. So anyway, so then you got to focus on the lead generation and figuring out, well, where are your leads going to come from? Are they going to come from online, offline, a combination? And that is one of the biggest problems people have. So if your program is not selling, you have to figure out, it's like a little science experiment, right? You got to figure out what the problem is. Do you have a great program that sells, but you have no leads? Maybe that's a problem. If you don't have any leads, is your discovery session offer not compelling? Why aren't people going to your page and booking on your calendar? If people are booking on your calendar and you're doing discovery sessions, so something that you're saying is bringing them in, but they're not buying, then there's a problem with your program. So it's very simple, right? When you look at it this way, it's like a little math problem or a science experiment. It's like, okay, there's something missing and we just need to tweak it. And a lot of times business owners feel like it's a mystery, right? Success is a mystery, but it's actually very simple. The answer to fix it isn't always just super easy, but like it's easy to figure out the problem. And at least when you figure out the problem, you can go in the right direction. Like I said at the beginning, some people think that, well, no one's buying my program, so the price is too high. And it's like, no. How many people are asking you for a consultation or discovery session this month? Well, nobody. Okay, well, it's not your program. It's what you're saying out the gate. It's right. What's your lead generation strategy? If they're not coming in, if you're not like putting the bait out there that's getting them interested in talking to you, it doesn't necessarily mean your program's bad. It might be, are you doing enough marketing? Are you visible enough? What are you saying when you are being visible? Are you just posting random stuff, or are you like really getting to the heart of the matter that's making people get on your calendar from a Facebook post?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I've had several cricket launches where I learned something. I am like so annoyed with this whole process. And every time I'm learning a little bit better. And, and this is why I'm so passionate about talking about branding and understanding the first step, because I made made all the mistakes in the book about, trying to sell something to, first of all, the wrong people. You could be priced as low as you want to go. And if you're speaking the wrong language, like I was speaking Greek and they speak Italian, darling, there's no communication there.
You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Like if you get the right people in front of you, they're going to see the value. But if you're talking to the wrong people.
Exactly. It's kind of like pearls before swine, right? Why are you wasting your time and effort with speaking to the wrong people who don't get it? Or like the pain isn't big enough for them yet to realize that they need you. So I totally agree with that. And I think that's part of what the important part is, that starting with the research first is actually really super cool. So we've got a lot of comments going. Let's see. This is
Sorry, we have a side conversation going.
Mimi's from Nigeria. Hey, I'm from South Africa, from Johannesburg. So
my husband's from Ghana.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So have you been to Africa?
Not yet. Soon.
You have to go. There's a great place. I mean, I know, I'm sure Bumi would agree with me that us Africans are definitely, we have a different way of looking at things, but it's one of the most prettiest countries you can go visit. So you definitely need to go visit.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Who is that? Yeah, so she's got here. Bumi, my daughter's like, oh, that is so cute. Awesome. I'm not from here, but I'm from spiritual name.
I think your name is beautiful, Bumi. I love the meaning.
It stands out for sure. And Rev Coach is definitely giving us lots of props there. And thanks for everyone who's just recently joined us, like Angela, P. Van Vuren. We appreciate all that. And we've covered a lot of bases in terms of understanding that it's not just about the money, but it is about the money. Like, how do we position ourselves to be in front of the right people? We talked about mindset, then revamping what it is you offer. So you're coming up and, you're providing the right product offering to the right people. And then you can kind of reverse engineer it. So I still have a lot of work to do. I've got lots of things I've been
We
taking
always
notes
have
here.
work to do.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is we never arrive. It's always a learning process. It's, and as we grow in our businesses, there's always something more to learn and something we can learn from somewhere else. But one thing I've definitely learned, and I'm sure you'd agree with me, Jessica, is trying to do someone else's business model and follow their path for yourself is just not going to be successful for you if it doesn't work for you and where you are at.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I post a link to my Facebook group?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, because I see some people talking and having great conversation, and I know I can further assist them. I'm just grabbing the link really quickly.
Sure. Well, while you do that, I'm also going to say also put your link for your website in there, because you got some freebie downloads too, right, on your website?
Oh, yeah. I've got all kinds of stuff. So I want to say Rev Coach would love to see you in the Facebook group. Maybe I can help you out with that if you have more questions. And then so permissiontocharge.com. And then I also have my main website, jessicariverson.com. I wanted to say, Mimika, last night I went to hear Elizabeth Gilbert speak. Do you know who she is?
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah. Well, she just wrote a book called Big Magic. It's about creativity. And she gave the most amazing speech last night. And everything that she said about creativity, even though she's a writer, so it's more like in the arts, everything that she said was exactly tailored to entrepreneurs. So I want to recommend everyone to read her book. It was so amazing. And she talked about how she's really hilarious. She is so funny. She was saying that fear and creativity are conjoined twins. So wherever you go, the fear is always there, and it stops us from being creative, but we have to acknowledge the fear, that the fear is always going to be there. Fear is there to keep us safe, but we can't let it stop us from creativity. So as an entrepreneur, when you have an idea for, like you said, ideas, right? Like we have all these ideas all the time. One of the great things that she also said was like, you have to just, if you have an idea, go for it. Don't sit there and go, well, I have this idea. Like pick one of them and do it. And I thought that was such good advice to just, if you're an entrepreneur and it's something that you love, like go for it and put your whole heart into it, instead of trying to like pick the most perfect one, or even, yes, we want to be realistic, like what's going to make money. But I thought she had a good point. It's like, if you're going to do something and it's creative, do it because you love it, and those of us that are really lucky, we get to make money as well. But exactly. And then maybe this will speak to someone that's listening who's like a real creative entrepreneur but hasn't made any money. She was very, very clear on, you need to make sure that you're making money. So if that means you have a job, like a day job, don't be broke. Don't put yourself in the situation where you're like the starving artist, even if it's like you're an entrepreneur, not like necessarily an artist. Like don't do that. She said, don't kill your creativity by making it so that your creativity is supposed to pay all your bills. Like now, like I said, some of us are very fortunate that we're doing what we love and we make money, but she made it clear that doesn't happen for everyone. So I'm just throwing this out there, but maybe this is right for someone. Like you might have this great idea. It might not be sellable right now. It might not be, the thing that's going to make you $1 million, but make sure you take care of yourself financially, like she said, but still pursue that thing that lights you up. It might be a business endeavor. It might be meant to be a nonprofit. Like people sometimes come to me with business ideas and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to make you a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, so I know this is a bit of a tangent, but I had such an amazing time hearing her speak. I just wanted to throw that out there because there might be someone that's been in that situation. And, sometimes not all ideas are money-making ideas.
Exactly. And the thing is, I think you have to admit, it's like you're saying, don't give up the day job while you're pursuing the dream, because it is, and I've had this several times over my life, was when you are strapped for cash, you make decisions that are different because you're pursuing the money, because nobody wants to be broke. No one wants to be in a situation where you can't pay the bills, but then it makes you make different choices. So you can't make quality choices. You end up making sort of like panic survival choices. And then what happens often then is we either give up on our dreams or we don't pursue the things we could do. And then you fast forward a few years and you end up frustrated because you're not doing what you know you should have been doing.
Yeah.
So I've been there more often than I'm cared to admit.
Yeah. Oh, we've all been there. And I love what Rev Coach said, that so many people are judging themselves because they're not making money from their creativity. So, and that, you know, that's the value of hiring a coach or even having a consultation with someone that can tell it to you straight. Like, I will tell someone if I don't think their idea is going to make them money. And I mean, I don't necessarily want to be the one responsible to kill someone's dream, but I mean, I've had to tell people sometimes like that's going to be a slow route, you know, and they have to not make themselves bad and wrong. If they love it and that's like part of their mission, do it. But maybe it's not a money-making thing. Maybe it's a charity or a nonprofit. Maybe it's just something you do as a hobby and you love it and you don't put pressure on yourself to make money at it, you know? And anyway, I just wanted to bring that up too.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's so true. And this is part of what I've learned in my entrepreneurial journey is that I was so focused on the one thing that I want to do. Like say I want to do like a group program that I forgot I was pursuing the longer, it's a longer route to get there.
Yeah.
But in between, if I wasn't taking care of myself along the way, I couldn't then meet the bills. And then all of a sudden you get the bills and you're like, got to drop that. I can't focus on that. Now I've got to focus on just scrambling to get clients.
Yeah.
Which is a really sucky place to be because then eventually then your plans for where you want to go can't materialize. So and nobody wants to be in that situation. Especially like with, I've been in a photography business or the photography industry for 12 years. And I come across this a lot that even if you are an entrepreneur, we find it hard to feel like, okay, if my passion doesn't pay, then I can't do it. Yeah. And kind of like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. But I totally agree with what you said that, you know, it kind of like take Jessica's advice, keep the day job while you pursue it. And then once you can you know, the one starts to meet up with the other, then you can kind of build it. But what I heard you say as well, Jessica, is, you know, it's a build. It's not just you straight out and you can start charging $20,000, right?
Yeah, you build it up. I mean, the other thing, the reason I love service-based businesses so much is that you can create a service-based business and literally tomorrow you can go offer it to someone and see if anyone will buy it. I mean, that's the most service-based businesses are that simple. I mean, I guess there's like things that you need to put together, but you can kind of run the idea by people and say like, do you want to buy it, you know, before you launch it. And that's the nice thing about service-based versus product, because you could create a product that nobody wants to buy. And people have done that. So I have to go I have a consultation in a moment, but I have decided in this moment, I am going to do a blab about Elizabeth Gilbert's, you know, creativity topic. Even though I just got the book yesterday, I haven't finished reading it. But I would love Rev Coach CEO, if you would follow me, let's try to connect, maybe get into my group. I like what you were saying, and we should have a blab about this because it's I mean, what she said was just amazing. And I would love to get on here and talk about what she was saying about creativity and making money. And, you know, so anyway, if anyone follows me, then when I hope to do that blab within the next week or so, let's talk about what Elizabeth said, because everything that she said was perfect for entrepreneurs too. Exactly. I'm so glad you joined my group. Yeah, let's blab about it. That's going to be a good topic.
Exactly. And I think it's always something that we want to be able to talk about, is because, you know, we're in business for the money, but we still have to be able to have everything aligned. So I'm going to say thanks to everybody for who's been watching. And if you just joined us late, please do watch the replay and add some more comics. But as we mentioned earlier, like I have some freebie resources too. If you're at that stage where you kind of can't figure out who your clients are, like you know you want to do a program, or you want to be a coach, or you want to create a product, but you're not quite sure and you haven't quite got your branding down, you're not really sure how you want to show up in the world, I've got some tools for you. So go ahead. You can go to my website at mimikacooney.com. I'm going to put a link in here.
I had a great freebie about Blab too on your.
Yes,
that one.
I'll add that link too. So I have the video series if you want more, and I'm going to put the link here. Like if you're enjoying Blab, go to this link as well. That's mimikacooney.com/Blab. And it's what I provided with Jessica to really help her prepare for today, because well, and I know Jessica's done this before, but a lot of my other guests, you know, if you don't get your camera right or you don't know how to prepare properly for an interview, you don't have the confidence to show up. So even though a lot of you are joining the conversation, you know, we'd love to be able to have more people part of that and, you know, doing more of these blabs and reaching people in real time, because this is what I'm loving, is that we're having live interaction right now, which is totally awesome. So if you haven't gone there, go ahead and grab those and make sure to reach out to Jessica. And I see, Yanira, you want to join us. We actually do need to wrap up because Jessica's got to be on her way, but we will do this again. Keep subscribe to my channel too. I do blabs every Wednesday. We have 3 to 4 blabs on a Wednesday that you can come and join. And make sure to connect with Jessica offline and myself, and we'll look forward to continuing the conversation. So I can say thanks, Jessica, for joining me. I know I appreciate you spending your valuable time with me today and my audience.
Thank you. I'm honored to be on your show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And make sure to share, everybody. Share and tell your friends about Jessica.
Yeah, I'm going to share this. This was a great call, a great blab.
This was a great conversation. And I always like to leave off with a bit of an encouragement that says you need to believe in yourself. You are worth it. You can do what you love and be paid for living it. So show up, be you, and build a brilliant business brand. So thanks again, everyone. Until next time.